General Grievous is a character that often gets unfairly slandered as a coward, and I'm going to explain why that's not the case. Now, my introduction to General Grievous was the 2003 Clone Wars show, where he's an absolute unit, dropping Jedi left and right, and while I think most people prefer this version of Grievous over what we got in the other Clone Wars show, some people argue that it's inconsistent with Revenge of the Sith. But I'm here to make the case, even if we go off Revenge of the Sith and no external source material, then General Grievous is no bitch. So I'm going to go over every scene someone might cite as a reason Grievous is a coward, and explain why you're actually wrong. The first time we see General Grievous run away is when he's surrounded by Obi-Wan and Anakin. Now, I don't think it's cowardly to duck a 2v1, especially when those two people are elite space wizards with telekinesis. You wouldn't give the UFC heavyweight champion shit for not fighting two people at the same time, and UFC fighters don't even have telekinesis as far as I'm aware. So why are you going to give grief to General Grievous? Remember, when he gets the chance to run the ones, he does. He just doesn't want to get jumped, which I think is entirely reasonable. And that's not even factoring in now Dooku's dead, the entire war effort is dependent on him. Frankly, it would be a bit selfish of General Grievous to kill himself. The entire separatist movement is dependent on him, but you want him to fight two elite Jedi at once? For what possible reason? Just to show how hard he is? General Grievous is secure in his masculinity, okay? He doesn't need to get into pointless scraps just to prove something to himself. So I don't want to hear another bad word about this feminist king that treats men and women equally. And just so you know, ladies, he's 7'1". But getting back on track, General Grievous, instead of recklessly trying to fight a Jedi Master and the Chosen One at the same time, finds an intellectual way of killing two birds with one stone, and instead fucking launches himself into the vacuum of space in an attempt to kill them both. Now, I don't know on what planet launching yourself into the vacuum of space is considered bitch behaviour, but I think that's pretty hardcore personally. I don't know any cowards that would be willing to do something like that. Most of you get nervous when having to tell the waiter they got your order on, but you're going to call a war general pulling off Red Bull stunts on the front lines of the biggest battle of the war a coward? You wish you was as brave as General Grievous. There is zero bitch behaviour in this scene. Now, the next scene I'm going to refer to is just a single line of dialogue where Mace Windu has this to say about Grievous.
General Grievous will run and hide as he always does. He's a coward.
Now, some people are going to cite this as evidence that General Grievous is a coward, but I can't say I value Mace Windu's opinion on this. The man needed to bring 3 Jedi Masters with him just so he can jump a 60-year-old. The actual audacity for this man to call anyone else a coward is astonishing. Mace Windu, more like Mace cunt. Now, I already hear some of you saying, but Palpatine isn't just any 60-year-old, and okay, sure, he's a little bit more athletic than the average 60-year-old, but he's still a 60-year-old nevertheless. Also, I know I said I'm not factoring in external media here, but if you do, then remember the canon explanation at the time for why General Grievous has asthma? Is that the Honourable Chad General Grievous challenged the soy boy beta cuck Mace Windu to a fair fight, and Mace Windu's response was to use his magic powers to crush General Grievous's lungs, which forces Grievous to retreat. This is what in Mace Windu's eyes makes General Grievous a coward, just because he didn't want to stick around while Mace Windu uses his powers to crush all his other vital organs. But even when we don't factor in the Clone Wars, I think I've still scientifically proven that Mace Windu is in fact the real bitch here. Now, the final scene we're going to look at is Grievous's battle against Kenobi, which I think definitively proves that General Grievous is no coward. Now, we all know how the iconic scene starts.
Hello there.
General Kenobi!
What's important to keep in mind here is General Grievous has an entire droid army with him. If he was a coward, all he would have to do is order the droids to kill Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan would be fucked. But General Grievous doesn't do that. Despite the fact there's no reason Grievous has to fight this man, he runs the ones with Obi-Wan anyway. Why? Because he has honour. And the Honourable General Grievous, unlike the Jedi, actually cares about having a fair fight. Now, some people may point out that General Grievous having 4 arms gives him an unfair advantage, but I remind those people the Jedi are both telekinetic and telepathic. I think that's a much bigger advantage than just a couple more arms. And even when Obi-Wan cuts off 2 of his arms, getting rid of Grievous's only advantage, he still fights Obi-Wan despite how badly he's losing at this point. He could at any moment order the droids to gun down Kenobi, but he doesn't. Because he's honourable. He only runs once the clone army shows up because he knows the Jedi are cowards, and Kenobi isn't going to afford Grievous the same luxury he afforded him. If the droid army gets taken down, Kenobi isn't running the ones with Grievous. Kenobi has zero issue gunning up on people. He's laughing as the clones gun Grievous down. And the moment it's back to being 1 versus 1, Grievous is even willing to fight him while unarmed. That's just the kind of Chad that General Grievous is. So yeah, I think the Kenobi vs Grievous fight is actually definitive proof that Grievous isn't a coward, because if he was, Obi-Wan would be very dead. So those are all the reasons I think General Grievous isn't a coward. Did you agree with my video, or are you wrong? Let me know in the comments below.